Welcome to JaguarAudioDesign.com. My name's Darren. In this segment, we're going to talk about buying vinyl. Buying in the record stores, buying online, and most importantly, how to find the pressings with the best sound quality. Let's start with record condition. I won't describe every level of condition because all the used records I buy are only in what's called near mint or excellent condition. I don't see much point in listening to an album full of background noise, and for that reason, I don't buy anything unless it's in near mint condition. The precise definition of near mint is, and I'm quoting, a near perfect record that should show no signs of wear, almost like it was just open. Now, an album that's decades old might show a few scuff marks or surface scratches, but shouldn't have any deep scratches, notable warp, or excessive surface noise. It's difficult to evaluate record condition in normal lighting, but if you have a bright LED light, maybe one on your phone, it's much easier to identify imperfections. Every album has a few identifiers that allow you to determine whether the record you have is actually the one you think it is. This is important for assessing the value and because sound quality ranges widely between different pressings. The back cover or inside of the cover and also the label will often show you the original release date, the country of production, and catalog number. However, these are usually not unique identifiers. The only truly unique identifiers on a record are these hard-to-read numbers in the center of the record called the runout area. These are referred to as matrix numbers, and they indicate things like when the record was pressed, who did the master, and where it was manufactured. With most albums, matrix numbers are required to precisely identify the album. To find information for your record, go to the Discogs.com website and search the matrix numbers on both sides of the album. Some records sound great, most don't. If you're going to spend your hard-earned money on vinyl records, why not focus on the ones with the best sound quality? When I go to audio trade shows, the most common problem I hear is the dealers who assemble $500,000 system then play lousy recordings on it. Here's something to remember. When you play a mediocre recording on the best system in the world, the result is mediocre sound. A number of factors contribute to record sound quality, but the most important ones are the fidelity of the original recording, the skill of the engineer cutting the master, the purity of the vinyl material used, and the precision and consistency of the manufacturing process. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter why a record sounds good, but it's a good idea to have a high-level understanding because it helps you sniff out the better recordings. With the recent resurgence of vinyl, one falsehood many audiophiles have perpetuated is that 180-gram heavy vinyl is key to great sound. You see this sticker right here. It says Premium 180 HQ Record Technology. It's what you call pure marketing BS. This is a reissue that's vastly inferior to the original pressing. As a matter of fact, I could show you any number of 120-gram pressings in my collection that sound as good as anything on 180-gram vinyl. Record weight isn't really a meaningful factor with respect to sound quality. That said, I kind of prefer records in the 140 to 150-gram range. They don't take up as much shelf space as 180-gram pressings, but they still have a substantial quality feel and they're less likely to warp. Here's a 150-gram pressing from Seattle artist Shelby Earle. It's called Swift Arrows, and it just feels stiff and substantive. While I have this album out, let's talk about how vinyl color affects sound quality. Black albums are black because carbon powder is added to the vinyl during production, which can increase the homogeneous consistency of the vinyl. Sound quality is correlated to composition of the vinyl material, not the color. Very pure, pristine vinyl will make records without any crackle or surface noise, whether the carbon is added or not. Bottom line, Color is not a reliable predictor of sound quality. If you're interested in buying vinyl in record stores, each store is a little different in terms of their collection and how they work with their customers. So shop around until you settle on a few stores you prefer. Also, talk to the employees and try to get to know them because they can be very knowledgeable and a great source of recommendations. Record Store Day is probably the most popular annual event. It's held on a Saturday between mid to late April, and it's a day when you can find a lot of sales and new releases. The good record stores have record players to allow you to listen to unsealed merchandise before you buy it. And because I'm interested in finding the cream of the crop, I bring two things with me. My own set of headphones and a reference record. The reference is an album you're intimately familiar with and should also be one of the best sounding in your collection. Listen to your reference on the store turntable, then play the records you're thinking about buying and see how they compare. As soon as you drop the needle, you'll hear the noise level in the recording, and shortly after that, you'll also hear the nature of how compressed or dynamic the recording is. I personally buy almost all my vinyl online because I'm usually looking for specific pressings. I like to listen through my friends' record collections, and if I hear something I really like, I'll write down the matrix numbers and go look for a copy online. I find about 90% of my records on Discogs.com and the other 10% on Amazon and eBay. Discogs is a worldwide online marketplace for vinyl, and most record stores sell there as well. About half of what I buy ends up coming from Europe. Discogs also happens to be the ultimate resource for pressing information on your albums. You'll need a PayPal account to buy or sell on Discogs. I rarely have problems buying online, but when I buy expensive albums, I always ask the seller to confirm the matrix numbers because sometimes these get mixed up accidentally or not so accidentally. If the condition is not as advertised, most sellers will allow you to ship the record back without a hassle, but if not, you can always file a PayPal claim and send it back. Just make sure the package has return tracking. Once you've started collecting vinyl, there are a handful of things you should know about. First, there's a proper way to take a record out of the cover. Now, when I'm listening to my own records, I'm kind of lazy, and usually I'll lean a stack up against the wall and just kind of pull them up like so with my fingers. But if you do this with someone else's records, it's kind of an audiophile faux pas that will earn you some dirty looks. Here's the proper way to do this. Slide the record out, and you catch the edge with the side of your thumb and support the underside with your fingers on the label. This way you don't get any fingerprints on the record, and whenever you're handling someone else's records, this is the way that you should do it. Many of the albums you buy will come with these plastic outer sleeves. There's a temptation to leave these on, but when you put the record on the shelf, they tend to slide halfway off, and they're just a real pain. I take these off all my albums except for the most valuable ones. As long as you don't pack your records too tight on the shelf and you're not rough with them, you can take these off and you won't end up having much cover wear. Now, I've tried just about all the inner sleeves I could find, and I've settled on these. They're square, clear on one side, white on the other, and they cost about $50 for a pack of 100. These are really good to put at least on your valuable albums because they'll prevent a lot of scuffing and micro scratches that you would otherwise get with the old-fashioned paper sleeves. And also remember when you put your records on the shelf to try and stand them straight up, because if you have them leaned over with a bunch of other records leaning on top of them, your records will warp over time from that stress. It's a good idea to clean your records from time to time. Now, if you have a few $1,000s to spend on an automatic record cleaner, they're really convenient and slick, but if not, this little cleaner is called the Spin Clean, and the nice thing about it is that it cleans both sides at the same time, and it also only costs about $100. It's a manual cleaner, and you just spin the record around like so, and then you take it out and dry it. Now, this is not as nice as the fancy automatic cleaner, but as far as the less expensive cleaners go, this is the best one that I've found so far. The last thing I want to show you is how to pack a record for shipping in case you decide to sell something in your collection. You can always tell a seller who doesn't know exactly what they're doing when you receive an album that's packed in random pieces of cardboard that have been cut, folded over, and taped together. So this is how you want to do it, especially if you're shipping a valuable record. First, you're going to need one of these record boxes. And in this case, put the plastic outer sleeve back on the cover and take the inner sleeve and slide it right in there on the outside of the cover like this. This will give it some added rigidity. Then you want to add these square pieces of cardboard to either side, and even better if you have one of these pieces of square bubble wrap like this. Put that on top of the album. And then we just take it all and slide it into the package here. Then just tape it all up and you're good to go. Well, that's it for this segment. Feel free to add your comments and suggestions to the Jaguar blog page. Thanks for watching, and be sure to keep an eye out for our next video.